Gurudwara Rakabganj Sahib near Parliament House in New Delhi hosted a dinner for the international guests. To build the culture of peace and non-violence for the children of the world, City Montessori School's World Unity Education Department, headed by CMS founder and convener of the International Conferences of the Chief Justices of the World since the turn of the century, is organizing the conference every year for expounding the cause of a safe and secure future of the world's children. Insofar, 1,222 Honorable Chief Justices, judges, heads of state, and heads of government from 133 countries of the world and Nobel laureate His Holiness the Dalai Lama have participated. On the 8th of November, CMS Reception Committee, including CMS children, cheerfully welcomed the Honorable Chief Justices and dignitaries at Lucknow. Friends, here we come to CMS World Unity Convention Center, the venue for the conference, to the resounding beat of the school band played by the school children. The layout of the premises include the main auditorium, basement halls, and conference rooms. The auditorium is flanked by two well-equipped Kaizen and CISV guest houses with well-furnished rooms and attached washroom facilities. Guests then settled down for the opening session of the conference.
International Conference of the Chief Justices of the World, we are truly privileged and humbled by the presence of legal luminaries from across the globe, along with heads of states and parliamentarians of the different nations from all over the world.
As the conference is called by the school, students of CMS Aliganj Campus 1 conducted the Model United Nation, where they discussed about the need for the establishment of World Parliament.
By the discretion of the Executive Board, the agenda has been set to, and I quote, establishment of a World Parliament for the codification and enforcement of international law, unquote.
Good morning, delegates. International law is a system of treaties and agreements between nations that govern how they interact with each other.
With the present number of delegates present in the committee, the quorum has been set up to 31 for the motions and 40 for the draft resolution.
Delegates, at this point of time, do we have any points on the floor? Any motions on the floor? Yes, Delegate of Angola.
The delegate of Angola would like to raise a motion to establish the general speakers list with individual speakers' time being 90 seconds.
The motion is in order, delegate. Delegates who second this motion, please raise your placard. Any oppositions to the motion?
Seeing no opposition, this motion clearly passes. Delegates who wish their names to be added to the general speakers list, kindly raise your placards. Delegate of Bangladesh, Delegate of Israel, Delegate of Afghanistan, Delegate of India. Delegate of Bangladesh, you have 90 seconds.
Thank you for the recognition, Chair. In Bangladesh, decades of border conflict has negatively affected the lives of thousands of civilians. More than 1 million people are estimated to be internally displaced in the southern region. The undocumented migrants pose the largest public health concern. As many do not have access to basic health services, have increased morbidity and present a number of public health risks. Widespread poverty, poor infrastructure, and lack of employment opportunities in Bangladesh has exhibited the cleavage between the citizens and the Rohingya refugees. This tension is deepened further by the cultural differences that have at times erupted into deadly conflicts. I, therefore, make an appeal to all the nations for the establishment of a world parliament and enforcement of the international law, which would resolve the growing conflicts between Bangladesh and Myanmar. Thank you.
Understand this more than most of all the nations, because we are experiencing it firsthand. At the national level, one critical strategy for reducing inequalities is to ensure universal access for good quality basic goods and services. Food, housing, basic amenities like water and energy, health services, education, and social protection. The only way to solve this growing disparity amongst nations is by mandatory participation of all nations in a world parliament. Thank you.
The delegate of Mozambique wishes to raise a motion to table and discuss the draft resolution 1.0.
The motion is in order, Delegate. Delegates who second this motion, kindly raise your placards. Any oppositions? Seeing no opposition, this motion clearly passes. May I now request the Bureau to present the draft resolution.
These are the operative clauses of the draft. Recalling that the International Court of Justice is the principal judicial organ of United Nations and reaffirming its authority and independence. Recognizing the desirability of establishing a commission composed of persons of recognized competence in international law and representing as a whole the chief forms of civilizations and the basic legal systems of the world. Emphasizes the need for more enforcement bodies of United Nations to safeguard the imperative laws to be enforced around the member nations. Further reminds all the member nations their collective responsibility to adhere and abide by the international law in their respective countries. Draws the attention towards the atrocities and violations in the Middle Eastern and African nations and requests the due course of action to be taken for the protection of human rights of people residing there. Recommends the creation of a world parliament under the authority of United Nations, having stronger and more stringent international laws which the member nations have to abide by and will be held accountable for their actions. Encourages the promotion of bilateral and regional confidence building measures with the consent and participation of the parties concerned to avoid conflict and prevent the unintended and accidental outbreak of hostilities.
Delegates, we will now put the draft resolution to vote. Delegates who vote in affirmation of the draft resolution. Negations. With 43 yes, 17 noes, and 0 abstentions, the draft resolution passes. I would like to thank all the delegates for stimulating the enriching discussion of this vital issue for the further betterment of the society and the whole world. I would like to thank all of you for your informative contribution to facilitate the constructive debate in the committee. Oneness has become the need of the hour. You all have, with your excellent words, explained the crises and hurdles we need to overcome. At the end, we can only conclude that let there be the same rights, let there be the same opportunities, let there be the same jurisdiction, and most importantly, let there be one world.
Thank you, delegates. We are the children of today, and we are the future of this world. We talked about the violation of international law and the need for implementation of it. We also talked about the world scenario over education, terrorism, environment, and women empowerment. We call upon you in this room and all across the world. Let us march from slavery to liberty. Let us march from poverty to shared prosperity. Let us march from violence to peace. Let us march from ignorance to awakening. Let us march from darkness to light. Let us march from mortality to divinity. This is the voice of the world, and we are the voice of the future. And we urge all the member nations present here to take an action, since you are the real-life lawmakers. With this, we come to the end of this session of United Nations General Assembly. I sincerely thank the members of Executive Board for the cooperation they have provided throughout the entire session. I want to thank the members of Secretariat for their profound support. With the powers vested in me as the chairperson of Chief Justice Model United Nations 2019, I, Shyam Agarwal, declare this session closed.
CMS Director of Strategy, Mr. Roshan Gandhi Faroohi, summed up the students' appeal by saying it is time now for older people to build a culture of peace and non-violence for the children of the world.
I think it's clear that these students have worked incredibly hard to put this together, not only because they have learned a lot to say and to present, but because in the process of doing so, they have undergone a huge amount of research and they have understood these really rather complex international topics at a very deep level. And they've not only understood them, I think, but I think they have developed a certain passion about the causes that they have been speaking about.
CMS President Professor Geeta Gandhi Kington congratulated the students for their proactive thinking, put forward with cogent arguments for the need of the formation of World Parliament.
This state of Uttar Pradesh would be the 5th largest country in the world. And it is a place where it is, if one looks at the development indicators of this state compared with those of the other states of India. It is a state which is where people are very warm, very welcoming, very hospitable, very friendly. And you will